Did you end up? Okay. Um,
Who's your team?
Not Seattle, and if not Seattle, New York, and if not New York, or no, I'm sorry, Chicago first.
Seattle,
But
Chicago, New York.
yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see Candace Parker win another one.
I love her.
Yeah.
I really, really like her. Welcome to Office Hours. Sto and I were just talking about WNBA and how exciting it is to see so many of those folks get jobs and recognition and, you know, all the accolades that they deserve. But today we're talking about social media and your favorite social media platforms and like really with so many options to choose from, what platforms should you be on? I'm Nora, that's Sto. This is Office Hours, and we provide practical advice to independent artists. How you doing, Sto?
Doing good, doing good. NBA basketball starts here next month. Can't wait because it's time. But also, congrats to the Aces. It was a really good WNBA season. It really was. Um, just
Wait,
excited to see who comes up next.
sorry. Speaking of congrats to us because y'all, we hit
Oh, right, right.
500 subscribers, and really like literally that would not be possible without each and every one of you who have subscribed and who have watched and who have shared and who have participated and who have sent in your comments. And just like, honestly, I never in my life thought that I would do something that recorded me on camera to keep forever. I know, like, Sto says this all the time. Sto never thought we'd reach 100 subscribers, let alone 500. So honestly, like, does that make us YouTubers now?
Yes, it does. I think it does.
Are we YouTubers? No, but y'all, for real, thank you for rocking with us, for supporting us, for showing up, for all the ways that for literally for subscribing, for liking, for your comments, like for sliding in the DMs and just sharing how much this has helped you. Never thought that like this is what Office Hours would reach. And so just like really a lot of gratitude and excitement. Like, so I'm proud of us.
Yeah. Seriously, thank you to everyone that's ever shared a video. Obviously, all the viewers and stuff like that. We're we've been at this for about 2.5 years, something like that. So, um, seriously, if whatever you've done to support the show over the last couple of years, it really means a lot. Because again, like Nora said, I genuinely didn't think we'd hit 100 before like 5 years or something like that, just because that's how YouTube works. But all of you came to support and help us and watch the content. That's the most important part. You guys are actually watching too, so it means a lot.
You know, I think this is actually so appropriate for today's topic of what social media should you be on, because we've like Office Hours has moved from different social media channels, and I think we use all the different channels differently, so we're kind of like a good case study or example for folks.
Right.
But like, okay, so the thing I want to start off by saying is you don't have to be on any social media that you don't want to be on.
You
Like,
spoiled it way too soon.
did
Damn.
I? Dang.
We're supposed to do the YouTuber thing where we kind of lead them in, like, I don't know, maybe it's Facebook. I don't know, maybe it's Slack. I don't know, maybe it's Carrier Pigeon. But no, you just went and you ruined it. So I'm taking over now. Here we go. I'm taking over.
I respect people's time. But go ahead.
Right. No. So I want to start by asking this, because people do ask us this all the time. Like, what platform should I be on the most? And so Nora, what platform do you think you're supposed to be on the most?
Me
For you specifically? Yeah. I'm just setting the table. I'm trying to do the YouTuber thing. Walk with me. Talk with me. Come on.
I suck at this. I'm just gonna. Okay, for me personally, I don't think I'm supposed to be on any platform. I think the platform that I love the most, so therefore the one I am on the most, is Twitter, and is Discord for different reasons in different ways. And then my newsletter, which is not a social media platform, but really that's where my like anchor is. But yeah, no, for me for sure, it's Twitter and Discord are and then YouTube because of office hours. Although I don't think we do office hours. I don't think we use YouTube.
We don't follow the algorithm the
Like
way they want us
like
to at all.
I think we could do more on YouTube. But yes, Twitter, Discord in that order. What about you, Sto?
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right. So in regards to YouTube, like we definitely have not used it to our full potential. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how to do that. I've been kind of, in the background trying to see what's going on, wondering why we don't have a community tab. However, on that same note, we also don't use YouTube the way YouTube wants us to use it. And even in that regard, and I feel like that's how all these platforms are. I think Nora would agree as well. Like she probably doesn't use Twitter the way Twitter wants us to use. We're constantly on it, constantly feeding the algorithm and quote tweeting, responding to certain things, blah, 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 blah. But for me, Twitter is definitely my like best platform, if only because it's the one I've been on the longest. I guess aside from Facebook, but that just turned into, seeing all my crazy high school teachers be racist and, Facebook is awful. So Twitter.
Wait. Oh, sorry. You're talking about Facebook for you because Facebook is not awful for everybody. And
it's not awful. It's not awful for everybody. The personal side can be, but the business side, personally, I think is almost a must-have. But and then obviously YouTube. What I meant to ask you is because you're on Instagram, but why don't you feel like Instagram isn't the best platform for you?
I hate Instagram. I hate Instagram because it's so clearly designed for ads, ad revenue. So like I don't like the way that it makes me feel like I always have to like understand the algorithm. And so rather than creating for people and creating and thinking about some robot, I don't like that. And for me, like video, photo is not it's not like I could do words in my sleep, but it's not an easy platform. It's not an easy medium for me. And so rather than worrying about, let me go create content, I'm not going to make a reel in my life. But like, that's what the algorithm is encouraging. So I use it when I want to. I like doing like Instagram stories. If you go look now, there's a story about like what's happening in Iran. And I like doing that because that feels creative. But I don't like how it makes me respond to it. So I don't use it for this. And part of the reason why I got my newsletter and built Discord was so that I could fully exit off of Instagram or not have to worry so much about Instagram because of these reasons.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so now that we're 8 minutes in and we can get into the point that Nora was making originally. So you see what I've done here? We've built it up. We have a house built now, and now we're going to keep building it up. All right. So before I ask my other question, first off, let us know in the chat, or if you're watching this in the future in the comments, like what platforms are best for you. Not necessarily what you think is best and all this other jazz, but what you believe is best for yourself and what you're working on and stuff like that. Now, I'll ask this question because I know that I think we get this kind of response / question a lot too. Do you have to be on every single platform known to man?
No, known to man and all other genders. But no, you don't. You don't have to be on all the platforms.
But Nora, TikTok is blowing people up. They're getting so many views. Why? What? Don't I have to be on that?
Let's break this down. One, social media is terrible for our mental health. Like literally research shows that social media is terrible for our mental health and it changes the way we think and we interact. So that feeling of like anxiety or stress, like that shit is real. So if you find that a platform, I'm sorry, I'm looking at people who say Twitter, Facebook, Instagram for work, Twitter and Tumblr for personal. Serial Sensei says the trifecta is Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. Honorable mention to Tumblr.
Tumblr, what year is this? That's incredible. That's really cool though. I didn't realize people were still out here like that.
I know Tumblr was still, but okay, so this is an important thing because we're seeing the distinction between personal and work. So one, whether it's personal or work, If a platform stresses you out, if you don't like it, if it's not, don't be on it. It's
Right.
it's
It's that
absolutely
simple.
okay.
It really is. And here, I'll ask you this on top of it. If you decide, like, for example, if I as an artist or creative, if I decide I don't want to be on Instagram, is my career over?
No.
Am I going to still be able to make it?
No, you'll be fine. And I know artists who don't exist at all on social media, but because they have other ways of communicating with their audience, and because they're strategic about not being on Instagram or not being on whatever platform, it still works. So one is to decide for you personally what feels good, where do you want to be, where don't you want to be, what are you good at, what are you comfortable with, and that's the most important. Then two is thinking about who is your audience and where is your audience spending their time. Chances are the people that are going to come for me are not on Tumblr, or like be my clients are not on Tumblr. So it doesn't really make sense for me personally to have a Tumblr presence. My audience is much more likely going to be on Twitter or maybe a LinkedIn or wherever else. So there's something there about figuring out what you want and where you want to be. But also the more, and I feel like I talk about this every episode, but the more you understand your niche, the more you can understand where they spend their time on the internet. And that's where you should go to. So it's kind of that match of like, where do you want to be? Where is your audience? But you don't have to be in all the places. And as long as you have a strategy, right? Serial Sensei is sharing the rapper Science uses an email list. It's the only reason I knew he dropped a project not too long ago, and I bought it. So this is someone who has a specific strategy and has trained their audience to open those newsletters because that's where information is going to come. So I don't know. I feel like I'm a little all over the place, but the point is, don't go anywhere that's stressing you out.
Right.
Pick the platforms that make the most sense for you and your audience, and then build a strategy around it. And if that strategy is not being on social media at all, that's also a strategy. The last thing I'll say is that going viral is not a strategy. So if your only reason for being on TikTok, for example, is that you think you're going to go viral, it's probably not a good, that's a lot of chance and a lot of hope and magic and stardust. And so, that's a whole other conversation, but
yeah, I don't think we've
I'm
talked
all
about
over
that yet.
Go ahead, Sto.
I'm trying to think if we've talked about, no. I was trying to think if we've talked about that in an episode, like why, like virality just in general. Might have to write that down.
No, actually, I'll add it right now to our list while you talk. We should.
Word. Right. And so it really, that crossover is what's important. I do think it is important also to make that distinction between like your personal, what you're using personally and what you're using for work. Even if you're switching accounts, that's okay too. Serial Sensei says, and we can tell when you're trying to go viral. It's cringe. That's true. People are human beings out here. People can tell when you're trying to go viral. And the thing is about virality is even if you go viral, that does not mean that you're bringing in the dollar signs. It is not a guarantee. Because chances are, if you're watching this, you've probably gone viral before, actually. Like, I feel like that it's getting more and more common. Like, but whatever. Yeah, that's a completely different episode. But at the end of the day, you do need to figure out what platform works best for yourself and your audience. The audience component, I do think sometimes artists get lost in, but at the same time, it's like paying attention to that audience on that platform. It's not just about racking up followers. I do think, and actually I'll ask this question next, is like, because I feel like this happens every time a new social media platform comes out. Oh God.
Hold on,
I don't know. I've seen the person. Well, all I'm gonna say is this: I ain't promoting no negativity. Whatever that woman is doing, all the celebrities are behind it and making TikToks and shit. I can't stand it. They're giving her a platform when she doesn't deserve one. Cut that shit out. And like I heard, she may have gotten a deal or whatever. She'll be out of here in a month or two because it never works like that.
I mean, it's also irrelevant. like whether or not she goes viral, whether or not she gets a deal, whether it doesn't have any bearing on what y'all are doing and the strategy that you're building and your relationship with your fans. And so it's also understanding like what kind of relationship do you want to have with your audience? And there are people who go viral, and there are people who go viral, but there's actually no love, connection, like involvement there. And then there's people who don't go viral ever, but their audience loves them, will show up. And so it's really for you to think about what kind of relationship do you want? And what kind of foundation are you building with your fans? Because that's also going to be, especially if you're trying to build like a sustainable career as a working artist, where you can take breaks when you need to, where you can make the music you want to make, when you can be free of like corporate influences telling you what to do or how to do it or when to do it, right? There's an independence that I think a lot of the folks that Sto, you and I are talking to are striving for. Sometimes virality isn't actually the pathway to that way of living. And so building that like real relationship where you're, again, trust, consistency, they like you, is going to set you up for a sustainable career that'll last you. Maybe it's slower pace than you want, but it's going to last you for years, decades if you want it, versus going viral, but you got to always put in the work of keeping that momentum.
That's what I was going to say.
The moment you stop, your audience is gone also. And so again, audience, because you're a trend and you have to stay trendy, versus being like a classic piece that's always going to be relevant regardless of what's happening in terms of pop culture.
Exactly. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't even realize we had these comments. Okay, so no more outrage clicks. I'm all about that life. I'm so done with quoted retweets, tweeting out garbage. We got, I use IG, Twitter, Facebook, and Discord. If that counts as social media, it definitely does. Most of it, any place that you're building community, I feel like that, and I feel like that's an important piece to it too, because I do think some people are sleeping on Discord as a platform, myself included.
We have a whole Discord episode coming up.
Not in 2 weeks, but maybe 4 weeks or something like that.
2 episodes from now.
And so it's where your people are gathering and where you're able to talk to people that are actually willing to get involved. And again, especially with places like Discord or newsletters or your website and stuff like that, again, you're able to retain those people. It's not just this fleeting moment on the internet that disappears in 24 hours or a week or even or whatever. And again, it's not something you're constantly having to pursue. It takes time to build. We talk about this all the time. It takes time to build relationships, even with your audience. And even on these platforms, these are places, they're, and again, even as we talk about all of these, we're not saying like, to place all your stake into one platform. Again, always use what's best for you. And the end goal is getting them to your newsletter platform, etc.
I have a question. And first, I want to share this because, Discord is clutch. Also, one of the best things I've started using since the pandemic. Like I said, 2 episodes from now, we have something that'll be all about Discord. Right. So so what you said, right, is it takes time. And there are platforms like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and, there's platforms that have been around forever and ever and ever. And then there's constantly new platforms. I just learned the other day that Clubhouse is still a thing. I didn't know that people were still using Clubhouse.
Oh, yeah. I still get notifications all the time. I'm never in there, but
there was a moment where people were willing to pay like $7,000 for a Clubhouse invite, and now I haven't opened.
It's like, where's my bag? How come I didn't take advantage of that? I could have had 10 racks.
What's the balance between investing in a platform and like allowing your audience to build and getting to know its rhythm and like, investing, but also trying out new things?
Right. That's the part that I had completely forgot that I wrote down, is like, it's okay to experiment with platforms and stuff like that. Like, not every platform, you know, you don't have to really invest in a platform that you're not seeing the return in, or you don't feel like you're getting the return in. Now, granted, I do think you should, you know, again, experiment, actually like test things out. Like even with the Clubhouse stuff, like, you know, I was late to the game, but you know, I experimented for a little bit, hopped in a couple rooms, and I'll still hop in a few if you know something crazy is going on. But you know, I decided it's not really for me. But you know, we use YouTube though over here, and at first I was like, I don't really know if I really want to do this. But here we are, 2.5 years later, it's working out, and it's something we're gonna keep doing. So I think there's a balance with like experimenting and really seeing what, again, figuring out what works for you. You never have to be somewhere you don't want to be. You'll continue to succeed otherwise. It's really just, again, about having a strategy and getting your people, your community into one spot to where you can actually have that conversation and dialogue.
I mean, I think it's also thinking about what is your capacity, right? I have capacity for like 2.5 platforms max.
Right.
You might have capacity for 1, or you might have capacity for 5. Like, know your capacity. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all of your fans are going to be in one place. You
Right.
might have some fans here and some fans here, and that's fine. What you really want to think about is what's going to highlight the pieces of you that you want to highlight the most. Let me pull this question up.
Yeah.
Girl J is asking, how long do you think it's reasonable to see growth and decide if you should stay?
I think a lot of it comes down first off to like genuine feeling, because I think in some regards, like, I think artists hop on a platform like, boom, if I'm not viral, you know, got 100 people in 3 months, I'm out of here. And it's like, you know, again, there's a balance to it, I think. And we can't tell you what that balance is, to be completely frank. I know for me, I have more capacity for Twitter than I do for TikTok. I have almost like negative capacity for Facebook, but I'm trying to like build some for it, you know? And so you're rarely going to see results like day 1, or even sometimes even day 30. I've been on TikTok for I don't even know how long, and I'm not really seeing like tons of followers. And I kind of like it that way, to be honest. But
wait, Nora Sto, are you making TikTok? Are you out here doing dances on the internet?
No. First off, I would never do something like that. That's absolutely absurd.
I was like, please don't. I would be so mad if I had not seen this.
No, I'm not ridiculous. But I do think that you should really figure out what works for you. And here's the other part about it. I don't know if you should enter a platform necessarily seeking growth immediately. Right. You should really like see if it works for you first, and if you enjoy being on there, not just what you're creating, but what. All right, this is getting ridiculous. But also like what works for your audience. So it takes time. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're not gonna see me doing it. Absolutely not. So yeah, you know, I don't want to enter a platform seeking growth, if that makes sense. Take time to really see what's out there first before expecting that, or not expecting.
No, I think that's so important. It takes time to understand a platform. What language is it speaking? What's the rhythm? Right. Like each and you know, we've learned this a long time ago, but it's good to remember that each platform is different.
Massively different.
And it takes time to build community. It takes time for people to know you. It takes, again, time for people to trust you, time for people. So I don't know that there's like a number on it, but my feeling is to tell people, give yourself more time than you think you should give yourself. Like right. Most people tend to, it's totally hard. Cheater Girl says it's totally hard, which is part of why social media needs to be part of your strategy, but social media cannot be the entire strategy. And so if you think about it as scaffolding, right? Like I have a strong base on Twitter. Then because that's a strong base, I can focus on Discord And then because there's Discord, I can put a little bit of energy into like you can create tiers and levels for yourself. The other thing to kind of complicate it is within each platform, there's a shit ton of different tools and options you can use. So you might be on Facebook and never write on anyone's wall, but you're using a Facebook group to build community with your audience. That's a great use of Facebook where you don't have to use all of the platform, but you could use some of the platform. Or you see what Sto and I, we're not really posting on Instagram every day, but every couple of weeks or once a month, we're doing an Instagram live. On Twitter, we're posting and we're using spaces. So thinking about not just, so you can, even within platforms, you can pick and choose the spaces where you feel most comfortable or that, and also that your audience wants the most. And again, play around until you get into a rhythm.
And the last point I'll put into perspective here, like with all this platform talk and stuff like that, is like, you don't need thousands or even hundreds of followers to get a following. Like, I think, I don't know when, and it kind of makes sense just given how the systems work, but I feel like somehow we've gotten lost in this idea that if I'm killing it on social media, I must be killing it in my actual real life. But there's tons of people that have thousands of followers that can't get 5 people to pull up to a show, or can't get 10 people to buy some merch. Both of us have seen it with our own eyes. People that have gone viral and have done all this crazy stuff they're either gone or their careers didn't take off the way and then there are people that have like, a few hundred followers. Like when you really think about it, again, I use this math all the time. If you have even 50 people, and Nora sometimes even goes as low as like 10 people, if you have 10 people that are paying attention to what you're doing and actually like waiting for your word and stuff like that, and like what you're talking about and involved in the discussion, there are people that you can turn into actual fans. Like, I don't even know if we've done an episode on it, but we mention it all the time. Followers do not necessarily equal supporters. So putting all this energy into, I must have X amount of followers and all this stuff, I promise it's not gonna give you the result that you think it's gonna get. But if you invest in the actual human aspect of this and connecting with the people overall, I promise you'll see way better returns on it.
So we do have, I think it's episodes 6 and 7 that goes into Instagram, that go into Twitter. We have episodes that are all about content ideas. So we have broken down social media in different ways. Like I said, 2 episodes from this one, we're going to talk about Discord. And I really love seeing in the chat how many of you want to learn more about Discord, because as I've said, I'm obsessed. And we haven't even started to touch on the social media platforms that are popular outside of the US. We should actually still do a whole thing on WhatsApp and the possibilities on WhatsApp, for example, because different markets have different platforms.
Use different stuff. Yeah.
And so that's also something to think about, is if you're trying to enter a global market, what other platforms should you be on that we're not even thinking about in the United States right now? So the thing with social media is to don't get attached. Allow yourself to play. Give yourself time to figure it out, but also give yourself time to say, yo, that's not for me. I deleted Snapchat a long time ago. Don't miss it.
Yeah, me neither. Same.
Great for my mental health.
But see, I'm willing to admit I'm enjoying TikTok. I don't like watching it. I do enjoy making videos on TikTok, but I do not enjoy watching.
Can't wait to go find Sto's TikTok after this episode.
It's just me saying the same stuff I do on Twitter. I promise it's nothing crazy.
I'm gonna find it. It's a whole
Oh,
we're gonna start doing office hours dances.
I'm gonna be sick.
So long story short, don't let social media stress you out. Take a cue from us. And I'll tell you, like, you can also change your mind, right? We started kind of Instagram heavy, and I think now we've moved more into YouTube and Twitter as places where we really see. Still, look, the people have spoken.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm on a mission. We're gonna make this happen.
Oh, Lord.
I forgot what I was saying.
Nah, just how we've pivoted. We've jumped around as we needed to. Spaces, honestly, the last like 3 to 6 months, our spaces have been absolutely insane. So we've kind of been leaning a bit more into that. So again, it's really about doing what like a lot of people, Instagram Live really is their thing. Like if that's your thing and it works for you, like honestly, do what works for you. There's no in all of this stuff. We'll say this in every single episode. There's no like straight line. This is the path you must follow if you want to succeed in the industry. Like it doesn't work like that, or we'd all be we'd be on yachts right now. So we're just go ahead.
Sorry, no. But what it is I think so often what I see with my clients is people want to have it perfect before they try. Just try.
Just try.
You're so afraid that the market is going to say no to you, that you say no to yourself before you even like do the experiment. And stop saying no to yourself.
Don't let those numbers control you. It doesn't matter how many likes you get.
Honestly, don't even look at your numbers. Like, don't look at your analytics. Don't look at your numbers. That shit will only hold you back. I mean, on the episode where we're like, ooh, 500. But like, if we got stuck on our numbers in the beginning,
I would have been out. I'm not kidding.
It took us time to build and it took us time to get here. And in the grand scheme of things, 500 is nothing when you look at other people who have like literally millions of subscribers, but that's irrelevant because
exactly.
Sto and I like doing this. It's a platform that works. Y'all are here and you show up and you're giving us that feedback. So we're going to keep experimenting with this until we decide we're over it or some other thing happens. But don't say no to yourself before you've given yourself permission to try it. Let the audience tell you no. You might be surprised that they're like, oh, we actually love this. We really want this. And so it's really about experimenting and starting with social media, even if it's imperfect. Even if you don't have a whole curated strategy or your next 8 TikTok videos figured out, just do the one and then do the second and allow yourself to take those steps. And that's how your audience will get to know you, but that's also how you'll get to know your audience. So
the last piece I'll slide in here is right off of what Nora said, where like your audience may say, nah, we don't like this. Nah, we don't like this. But that's the perfect chance for you to come in and be like, where do you want me to be? Where are you at? And then you can use that to, again, cater to the people that are actually paying attention. Because if they're paying attention and invested enough to say, hey, we don't like this, we would like this, or we want you over here. Yo, that's a fan right there. Like, because they took that time. So it's not all just about the likes. Because I'm telling you, I used to be the same way. I didn't get enough likes. I have thousands of followers. I didn't get enough likes. It doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. You pay attention to the people that are paying attention to you, and you nurture that relationship.
So speaking of nurturing relationships, again, thank y'all so much for helping us reach 500. It's such an affirmation of like we're on the right track.
Right. It really is. You all have no idea.
If office hours has helped you, if this has resonated with you in any way, Sto and I do this for love and appreciation. So we gladly take tips and donations, and you can send that to my CashApp or my Venmo, and it'll get distributed fairly. It also helps us like pay for Canva so we can make cute flyers and, you know, all that kind of operational costs for the, like, there are operational costs. So if you want to send us some, you know, tips and appreciations, we totally appreciate that. Thank you for subscribing. Share this episode with other folks that you think will help. And then tell us in the comments below, what platform do you love? What platform are you trying? What platform do you think everybody should be on that they're sleeping on? And if you want to see Sto dance, let us know in the comments too. I'll do it too. I'll do it with you. I mean, I'm not going to have you out here by yourself. We'll do like, anyways, that's all I got today.
Again, we appreciate you all for 500. We're just getting started. We have a lot of ideas these next couple weeks and stuff like that. So hit the like button. Let us know what platforms that are best for you, just so other people can see it, because this is going to be one that we kind of spread around, because it's a question we get a lot. So join us in a few weeks. Actually, in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the artists that we have been enjoying the most. And then after that will be Discord. So follow us, drink some water, get a website or a newsletter, and we'll see you all potentially next week. Peace.